I love to earn money, and I love the freedom that it brings me as a woman. That glass ceiling can just totally be shattered with entrepreneurship. But not everybody rolls out of bed knowing how to become an entrepreneur. And that's where I shine. I'm a ninja with that. And I really am that's my
I love
forte.
it. Yes. Well, my
And
boys want to be ninjas. So
well, for me, it's like I'm a time ninja. I'm a strategy ninja. Those are my things. I'm an activator. I connect the dots really easy, which is why I can help someone build that bridge from point A to point B. And if they need point A to point B, but they actually want to be at D, then we need to build the bridge from A to B, B to C, C to D, right?
Hello, welcome to Monetizing Mompreneurs podcast, where I take you behind the scenes with industry leaders, entrepreneurs, moms, working professionals, and amazing people pursuing their passions and going for their dreams. And I'm your host, Linda Mendable.
Sharon McDonald is a mother of 5, nutrition therapist, wellness educator, and business life coach. Her business was made possible because of her love for people, healthy living, collaborative business, and serving others. Sharon's belief in leadership development, passion for mentoring, training, motivating, and developing systems are deeply rooted in her teaching background, which has brought her clients from across the world for over a decade. Sharon, thank you so much for coming onto the show.
I'm so excited to be here with you. It's such an honor, and thank you for having me.
Oh my gosh, the honor is all mine because I know that you're just full of gems, and especially with a mother of 5. Hello. So you're raising 5 children, you have your business life coach, and I just love following you on Instagram. You have an amazing brand. So tell us how you started.
So, I started when I was a little girl, to be truthful with you. In fact, I have a post about this because I was coaching people from the time I can remember. I remember that. So I'm adopted by my aunt and uncle, and I was raised with them being my parents because they adopted us, and my parents became my aunt and uncle. And that's not a normal story, but I was in 5 foster homes before I was 5 years old. And so I remember when we went to go live with my aunt and uncle, and they were becoming our parents. I remember my dad was getting frustrated with something, and I remember looking at him, well, if you would listen, coach hat on, if you would just listen to mom, you would have a much better time of things. Things would go much smoother for you. I was 5 years old when I said that. And so then me and my best friend, she had a hard time with her mother. And I would coach her on things to say when we were 8 years old, and that pattern continued on of empowerment, right? Like empowerment of others. And here's how you can rise above, and let's work this out. Do you want to role play? Those kinds of things. So that's kind of just been a theme in my entire life, and a lot of listening, right? Shutting my mouth and just listening, because sometimes, most of the time, people will figure things out on their own. And you might have to listen for 45 minutes and be able to say 3 things. And people are going to go, oh my gosh, that's totally the answer. I know exactly what to do now. And thank you for that comfort. Or, now I know exactly how to respond. Right. And it's not very much, but so the coaching piece has always been there, always. And so when doTERRA landed in my lap, that preparation was also a real, big explosion of just all my worlds colliding into one. As a nutrition therapist, I was very, very, very into my family's health, reading labels, ridding my home of toxins. And then that journey began, just amplifying that movement. And that's really what took me global, was that platform, being able to connect with people worldwide. And that was very fulfilling for me, because I didn't want to do it. I did not want to do that, because I hated network marketing. Absolutely hated network marketing. And I said no to it for 23 years before this, right? And so I didn't like it because it had been done wrong in so many ways. And I was very comfortable in my life of what I was doing as a mom, right? As a mother. And I knew I could still be an entrepreneur and I could do other things. What would it be? And, this just dropped in our laps. And my husband is the one that invited me, and he's the one that encouraged me to get paid to do what I always did for free. So that's a blessing. And then, when people ask me, how do you create your business? It's always been on impressions and feelings. And for me, that space with God is really intricate. And that's how I have completely built my business, is on feelings and impressions. But it's those little things that I chose all along the way, from the time I was a little girl, of keeping myself in that space to hear and then respond to those feelings and impressions. Glory be to that. That's how I've created my business. That's how I'm here with you. And that's how I show up on social media. And that's how I serve. And that's what's taken me across the world.
Amen. You have so many gems. I'm like, oh my gosh, I want to go into all of that. So I love everything that you've said, because let's go deeper into that. Because you were like these little steps. Was it intuition? Was it, what would you consider like that emotion, that feeling? What was it?
So for me, one of the things I coach on when people hire me as a coach is it's so interesting to me how disconnected from our spirits we are. And that's one of the reasons why I love meditation, because meditation, I remember when I first started meditating, I had a cousin who called me out on social media and said, like, you're a praying person. Why do you need to meditate? And I said, well, meditation's totally different than prayer. It's totally different than prayer. I believe that prayer is a return and report. There is conversation that goes on there, but when you meditate, it's literally soul to being, right? And that soul has that direct connection, right? So for me, when I meditate, it's literally like listening to my soul. Same when I do yoga. It's you, your mat, and yourself, and that self-love and that self-confidence and that inner piece of, it's like that guiding star that directs your path. And those feelings and impressions you get, I believe, are the spirit. It's the spirit speaking to you. And when we can respond, that's my process, is that I practiced listening to those promptings and those feelings, and then moving my feet and acting on those. Sometimes there was a question like, is this a good thing or is this a bad thing? And then playing out all the little things that go into that questioning piece. And for me, it was like, will it produce good fruit or will it produce poor fruit? And so that's been my process. So those feelings and impressions to me are a very spiritual thing and a guided thing. And for me, in my belief system, I believe that's God speaking to me directly, moving my feet if I'm willing to move. And that's the thing that I try to capitalize on with my clients, is that if you want to be directed, this doesn't mean you're not going to make mistakes. Does not mean that you're going to not fail, because you can and you will, but sometimes those failures are actually the catapult that move you. You feel
100%. Oh yeah.
Yeah. And so we just can't be afraid of that process. But I think we have, in our busy society, slowing down and stopping and pausing to listen has become like you have to want it. You have to want that piece of life. And if you don't want it, you'll just go about doing your things, and, you know, life will happen to you and not for you. And then you can fall into that victim mode, and which, you know, many people do. But for me, I always just wanted to be in a place where I could be utilized for good. I would be a beacon of light. I would walk that path where I would always be looking and listening and feeling into that guidance.
Amen. I like how you explained it as far as like what it means to you, because a lot of people take it differently.
Mm-hmm.
Some people maybe don't acknowledge that, hey, that's spirit, you know, like the Holy Spirit or love, right? Love is guiding you. Love is guiding your path. And I think when we operate in kind of like this knowledge of, hey, everything is going to work out for my good in this path, what is coming into my life is ultimately going to be for my good. Whether I fail, whether I fall, whether I make mistakes, ultimately it's a stepping stone to go to where I need to be and where I am called to be for my purpose. So you're living more in purpose.
Yes.
Right. And operating in love. Because when we start listening, right, to our intuition, because we can call it also intuition. For me, I like to explain it as intuition, you know, and
it is like intuition.
Yes. And so we feel that intuition. And I love, like, a lot of, like, in this season, one of the words is being still and listening. We have to be still and listen. And the thing about it is, as business owners, right, we're all in sometimes in this hustle mode that can get you burnt out. It can get you basically making more mistakes and take that success that you wanted. It might take longer because you didn't sit still and listen. Maybe you needed to rest. Maybe you needed to kind of like put some things on the back burner to get more clarity, but you have to be willing to sit with it and listen. Right? Okay.
Yeah, 100%.
Because I follow you, and I mean, your stuff is spot on. I love it. It's very groovy. Like, I got a very groovy feel when I follow you.
Totally me. Somebody said, how would you sum up your brand? And I'm like, just think of Willy Wonka and Tinkerbell. If they got together and had a baby, that's me with a little hippie vibe, right?
Yes.
That's it.
Yes. Yeah. And I love that. And that's the thing, like, there's a place that we get within ourselves when we understand who we are. We can reflect that within our branding, right? When we're more in tune. I've spoken with many entrepreneurs, and a lot of them that are killing it online, like you, because you're totally killing it. Basically say, I had to do the inner work first before I can see the outer, I guess, for lack of a better term, manifestation. So that's why I wanted to go deeper into this and these little steps that you took that ultimately led you to where you're at now. Because when you first start, sometimes you don't know what your brand colors are going to be. You don't know what your branding is going to be. You don't know what your core message are going to be. And you have to really look within yourself, right, to get that out of you. So when you were growing, so you didn't like the whole MLM. You stayed away from it. What made you stay away from that sort of marketing? And then what made you embrace it?
So what made me go away from it was the approach, right? Like, people were hunting, and I always felt hunted. I felt like I was prey, and that people could capitalize on, and that's the only reason why that they didn't care about me. They cared about themselves and what you'd be so good at this, right? And so it wasn't about me or actually really the product, right? Or the company that was represented in that product. And so none of it ever resonated with me. Nothing. It did not. For 23 years. 23 years is a long time. A long time. And I happily said no, because I was like, you can't really make money forever selling XYZ, right? Because you were actually selling. And, you know, for example, and when I say these things, I mean no disrespect to any other profession and what mode the people have chosen for their entrepreneurship. But I didn't want to sell pots and pans and kitchenwares, right? Like I didn't want to sell a makeup package, you know, although I love makeup, I don't wear it very often, but I do like to get dressed up, and I love watching makeup videos and hair tutorials. Like I dig it. I'm totally on it, but that was not where I felt like I could give back to a huge audience. And so for me, I mean, even I remember when this dropped in my lap, I was looking at becoming a real estate agent. And I thought, I'm going to be on call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And my number one priority was my family. At the time this fell into my lap, I had a 13-year-old, a 12-year-old, a 10-year-old, and then a 5-year-old. And well, not even that. They were younger than that. Because my baby was literally like 18 months old going on 2, and the other little guy was 4 going on 5. So then the oldest was 13. That was my age gap with these 5 kids.
And when are you going to have another one? Just kidding.
No,
Just
I'm
kidding.
52. No, I would love, we miscarried that 6th baby.
Oh, wow.
3 years into my career, and I got diagnosed with breast cancer right after that, right?
Oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah.
No, it's part and parcel for the whole life game, you know? You do what you gotta do. So no, I'm 52, and I would love, in fact, just this morning as I was waking up and having my quiet time, I was thinking, oh my gosh, I miss having babies. I truly loved having babies. I loved being pregnant after the 3rd month, because I felt amazing, on fire, golden horse word. And I just love motherhood. I love homemaking. I love all of that. And so when this jumped in my lap, I was literally, what called me to it, you asked that question, was because there was nobody I couldn't serve. This particular company with this particular opportunity and the ownership, the mission across the globe serves everyone. There's no one that's left behind. And that is my legacy, right? That is the legacy I will leave behind. Those are the things that people are going to say about me. No one's left behind. It's literally Ohana, baby, all the way. Because, you know, family is everything, right? It's everything to me.
Yeah, most definitely.
Right?
No, it's everything to me too. I mean, I wouldn't be where I'm at without my family, without like them being there at my lowest point and being able to pick me up. You know, I'm so thankful for my family. And family is a big deal. You know, family is a big deal.
It is. Even when they're dysfunctional. Right?
I mean, what
even
family
when
is
it's
it, right?
I know.
You know what they say? Some of us are afraid of messing up our kids. Well, don't worry about it. You've already messed them up. There's already, we're not perfect. We're not perfect. And that's to say that, please don't take that, you know, whoever's listening, please don't take that to heart. And
it's just a fact of life.
It's just a fact of life. We're not perfect. We're going to make mistakes. But I think if the core thing, I think for whatever reason, like we have in this conversation, a core focus on love. And that's the most important thing. And that's my
branding.
Amen.
It is Sharon McDonald.love, right? Like that's it. www.sharonmcdonald.love, you know, Sharon McDonald love. It is it, because ultimately at the end of the day, that's where the grace is. That's where the compassion is. That's where the service is. And for me, that's what landed for me, was that there was no one I couldn't serve, and I could go anywhere in the world. And because I was open and willing to do that, that's exactly what's happened for me. And that's not for everybody.
No, it's not. but basically aligned with your core values, right?
Yeah,
You aligned with your
totally.
core values.
Totally.
You knew what type of legacy, but you knew who you wanted to be. So you knew who you wanted
Yeah,
to
the
be.
minute I signed on that dotted line, I knew who I was, where I was going, and it was already done. Period.
Wow. Wow. And that's faith
Yeah.
right there. Because I really feel
Yeah.
as though there's moments in life that there are things that we feel like are out of our reach. But imagine having the mentality that it's already done. We already have acquired all that we're meant to acquire. All those dreams that you have been accomplished. And
Mm-hmm.
you don't have to
Mm-hmm.
worry about, am I going to fail? No, what if there was no failure?
Mm-hmm.
And you're meant to do you're given that vision that's in your mind for a reason. You're giving that
Yes.
heart for a reason. You have that
Mm-hmm.
passion for a reason, right? And our
Mm-hmm.
passions for you and us, for you and me, aligned us together to have this
Totally.
conversation, to pull another mompreneur up and say, hey, focus
You can do
on
it.
love. Yes, you
Yes.
can do it. Focus on love. Love yourself. Be kind to yourself as you're building,
Yes.
right? Be
Yes.
kind to yourself as you're building. Stop the negative chatter. And that's what I feel like is today's message for whatever reason. Stop
Well,
that
but it
negative
is.
chatter. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
That
It's
holds us
if
back.
you can't totally. I was just having this conversation with my husband. He goes, "What do you think is the number one thing that holds people back from success?" And I said, "It's self-love, 100%." I said, when I was just coaching one of my business partners, and I remember in the conversation having this overwhelming, she's not where she wants to be, because she hasn't accepted herself. She doesn't love herself. She hides in all these ways. And I was shown this little picture, and I was like, 100%. Right. I've known this woman for 25 years, and that is exactly what has happened. And I just remember having this clarity, as a mentor. That's my favorite part, is that being able to pick those moments and then capitalize on them for that individual. And it for in this particular place, and in all of it, your messaging, your branding, your purpose, all of it comes down to when you can love yourself, 100% love every single piece of yourself, all your good points, all your bad points. You will have everything that you need to be able to create whatever you want. Everything will fall into place. And that changes our energy. When we meet other people, we see stars, like your reels were the thing that attracted to me. I don't even know how I found you, but it was one of your reels. Oh my gosh, this lady. And I literally went to your page, and I just watched reel after reel after reel, post after post after post. And I was like, she's my jam. She's my jam. And then I saw that you had your podcast. And so then I got onto the podcast. And so it's because of that alignment. And when your
Amen.
energy in that same place, you then start seeing your people. You start seeing the other bright lights in the world.
Thank you. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much. Because I felt the same with you. I was like, oh my gosh, she's amazing. She's incredible. I love it. Everything that she
Yeah.
we start fangirling.
Yeah, right.
Oh my gosh. But thank you
Little
so
crush.
much.
Yeah.
I feel like hiding my face. Can I hide my voice?
No,
Is there a
don't.
way
You
to
can't.
demonstrate?
Nope. No, not at all.
No.
It's out there.
Amen. And I love this. And I'm so glad we connected. And I want to go deeper because I feel as though you have so much gem and so much insight and so much truth and love to share with us to help us get to that next level. Because I feel as though, for whatever reason, I just feel like whoever is listening, they're on that verge of just going to that next level, but there's something holding them back. And I feel like this episode is going to help them get to where they need to be. I don't know why I feel
Yeah.
that way. If it's you, holler at us, tag us,
Yeah,
comment,
for sure.
slide
Tag
into our
us.
DMs. Yes, slide into our
Yes.
DMs.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so let's talk about your approach. So, what is the number one question that you get asked from either your clients or potential clients or people that basically follow you?
Oh, I didn't know you were a coach.
Mm,
I mean, if you can believe it, that I actually that is what comes up. I didn't know you were a coach, right? And it's not because I'm all my product. It's not because of that. It's because my approach is just not like I'm a coach, 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 I'm a
yes.
mentor, I'm a mentor, I'm a mentor. It's all parts of my life, right? And those are the people that I want to work with. I want to work with the people who are ready to move. And so if they're not ready to move, they miss the mark, right? It's like, oh, I
Yes.
didn't know you were a coach. So they're not in alignment. They're not ready for someone like me, because if you want to coach with me, you're building the bridge from here to there because I know how to build that bridge. Right. And if you want to move, you're going to move. But you're not going to work with me until you're there. If you're still hanging out, oh, I really like this low hanging fruit, and you're not willing to climb to the top of the tree, you're not going to want to work with me. You're just not. And I'm okay with that, right? So oddly enough, that is the number one question that I get. Totally. And the
Wow.
one right behind that is, why did you choose network marketing?
Okay. And the third? And the third? This is the magic?
Third one is, why do you have so many kids?
No. Well, that's the magic.
Yeah. Like I kid you not, right? And then a plethora of, what if I wanted to do this? And what if, how do I take care of this? How do I, all those kind of like, how do I drop 20 kilos and, things like that. But those are the top three questions that I think that I'm asked all the time
And
on
what
a
do you,
regular basis.
wow. And how do you feel about that? When you get asked these questions, how do you approach social media? Do you change the way that you're approaching social media? You keep it the same? Like,
I keep it the same. I keep it the same, and I do watch my algorithms, right? Like I do watch
yes.
my statistics, what's performing, and video always performs better. And always over stagnant posting. And I do my own content. That's probably the fourth question that I'm asked. Do you do your own content? Are you really the face behind that, right? That's the fourth comment that I get.
They can't believe
I'm
it,
like,
huh?
they can't believe it. Like, you do all of this and that. Well, yeah, I have somebody help me schedule things, right? But I'm the one that's writing the content. I'm the one that is approving or disapproving of XYZ. Those are my blogs that I wrote, right? That's my material. I hate it, especially when you drop into someone's DM and you get some basic, like, that's not even you. You're not even really answering me. I don't care how cool you are. What?
You know what's a good one that I honestly don't get sometimes is that there's these coaches that are in their social media, they're like, oh, stop with the code DMs and you don't need to do it that way. And this is how you get clients. And they're the ones code DMing. Like they'll land in your inbox.
Totally.
Code pitching.
Yeah.
I don't, that's like mind blown. I'm like, how? Like, how can this happen?
Well,
that blows my mind.
It really, well, and it's just, again, okay, let's just draw this analogy. Let's just tie this knot. That kind of an approach is exactly why I didn't like network marketing. That MLM approach of, hey, I got a thing for you. I'm going to slide into your DM and I'm going to be super like, I'm not going to really tell you what I'm talking about, but I'm going to try to fish, it's fishing. And why do you need to do that? That's not how you fill your pipeline. Show up. There's a better way. Right. Much better way, much more professional. And that was the guiding light for me was, okay, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it super professionally. I'm going to show up exactly how I am. There is not going to be anything in between. I have made big mistakes and I've rocked it all at the same time.
So let's talk about the algorithm, because you say you have an incredible audience, you have an incredible reach. I know for me, I'm slowly putting myself out there and doing some reels. Thank God I met you and everything like that. But I'm still learning, you know? So let's talk about what type of algorithms are you looking at? I know you said videos. Do you mean like reels or live videos? Or
Reels
any
and
video?
just any video, whether, and you know, not everybody wants to do video. And if you don't want to do video, you need to ask yourself why.
Yeah,
Because
for
if
sure.
you don't love yourself and you aren't confident, confidence is everything in every business. I don't care if you're an employee and you're wanting to be the executive or you want to be the manager on the floor. If you don't have the confidence, you're never going to get there.
Yeah.
Never. You're not.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
going to
If you
second
have
guess yourself
confidence,
all
you
the
can,
time.
yeah, you can sell sand on a beach. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my gosh, right? Yeah, totally. Yeah. Yeah, no, for real. And so that would be, so the algorithm that I look for is interaction. And that has performed miserably, and here's why it's performed miserably, because
Okay.
the
First of all, before we go in there, what do you mean by interaction? Like
like
engagement?
who's interacting, engagement, thank you, that's what I mean, is engagement. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because
Yeah,
like, is it comment, liking,
it's comments, it's not
sharing?
liking the, I could care less about the likes. I want to see the comments. I want to actually interact with you because I'm really there and I really want to interact with you. And so I've had to go and take out bots that have followed me, you know, on a daily basis. I'm taking 10 to 20 out every single day,
No.
every single day. Yeah, because the algorithm is, I don't know who does it and who's behind it and why it happens, but it happens. And I do fish them out because my teacher was Sue B. Zimmerman and I love her and she is spot on. She's good. She's really good. She is the Instagram expert. And so I've clung to that and it has proven well for me, but the user does not know how to interact on social media.
Okay.
Your little emojis mean nothing. Your like thumbs up, your little hearts, your little nice means nothing to the algorithm.
Damn, so my
Nothing.
whole thread of heart, fire, hands up means nothing.
Nothing. If you're going to put that, then you put the words that are in your heart. Let's tie this back to our heart and who we are and how we want the
Okay,
legacy we want to leave.
how about 5 emojis of a crying face, like laughing so hard? That means nothing as well?
Yeah, no, nothing. The algorithm
Wow.
reads nothing about emojis. Nothing.
That's
It's,
good
and you
info.
get a score. You have a score on all social media
No,
platforms. Did you know that?
I did not know that. No.
Yeah, you get a score.
Oh,
So you get a likability score, you get an interaction score, like you're scored. You are scored. And it's not based on your likes, baby. I know. Sad day.
I
Let's
like to
all
look
have
at
a little morning
reshares.
party.
How about reshares? Because I
That
like
is
to look at
good.
reshares.
Reshares and saves are also very, 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 very good, right? Very good. Those are good indicators. But that interaction is actually the thing that moves the dial. That's what shows your
The
content to
comments.
your audience, is the comments. And that gives you a likability score. So yes, do the emojis, but my goodness, say what's in your heart. Tell why you like it.
You're right. So the user doesn't know how to, they think that they're supporting you by putting that smiley face, by putting those hearts and fire and hands up, praise, all of that. Because I do. I think like,
and
shoot.
Yeah, no, for real. And when you get to accounts that have millions of followers, you know, like they've got 1 million followers or, you know, 985,000 followers or more, right? Then nothing matters, right? Like then the algorithm is just kind of taken over. No, I'm not joking. That's for real.
Wow.
That's for real. People could do whatever they wanted on those. They don't have to interact back with their people. No, and a lot of those accounts, you can see that nobody answers the DMs either, right? So it changes. It's so interesting. Like we could have a whole different podcast on that.
I mean, shoot, we're here for it. Okay, you were saying something about something fails miserably. I cut you off but you were saying like the interaction fails miserably in this aspect. I'm thinking it's because of the emojis. That aspect is what you're going to be going into, right?
It is. Interaction. Yeah. Yeah, it is. The interaction fails miserably when people don't interact. Really get in there and say something. You know, like people will actually go out of their way to send me a DM rather than comment on the actual thread.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm like, what is up with that? Like that does nothing for you or me. It's
I mean,
one
that's
thing
a
if you want to
chance for a
give,
sale, though. That's a chance for a sale.
oh, kind of, ish,
Depending on what is. Depending.
Well, most of the
Because
time,
they
the
opened up.
comments that yeah, but the most of the time the comments become, and it's not that it's bad. Okay. It's not that it's bad. Just it's a warning of why can't you make like this moved me in a big way. Right. Like I loved how this made me feel today. Thank you so much. And then go to the DM and give your message of what you wanted to say, right? Like this is what, if it's too private to put out there, but you do want the person to know, then go ahead and DM them and say that. But I can't tell you, even on stickers, people, instead of replying to the sticker, will send me a DM. And there's nothing wrong with it. It's just that messes up the algorithm too, because then, you know, then you're getting all these DMs, but then there's no sticker to share with it. So then you have to just click and save all the little comments and put them all together, you know, of like what people are saying. And so it's a user error. It's a user error. It's not the content creator. It's the user error, because Facebook really moved that dial for people. Like, let's hide behind the like button and the, you know, or the snarky mean comments. You know, it can go either way. Right. And believe me, I've had some very ugly haters, but you know, you're doing it right when you get haters.
I got one hater. She called me ugly. I was like, yeah. It was okay.
You're a kid.
It was okay.
I know, but oh my gosh. Well, your comment was really ugly, lady. Thank you so much for reminding me how ugly I am, because I'll just remember to be brighter and better next time.
But it was okay. But I was like, shoot, I got my first hater. I'm killing it.
Yes, you
But
are.
that's how we got to look at it, right? You got to have a tough skin a little bit. So
Yeah,
okay,
you do.
so how are you approaching Instagram? Because shoot, so do you educate your audience in your stories? Hey guys, comment instead of sending me the emoji.
Actually, no. Like that's actually a good idea to do that. I mean, I've done it a little bit, but yeah. And the other thing is, people don't actually read the caption. They look at the picture because, again, old Instagram was all about the picture, right?
Yes.
So you're commenting on the picture. The picture is supposed to tell you the story. And there is a shift happening, right? People are wanting real. So we need to take, again, it comes back to our conversation of slowing down and actually participating in life. And when you're actually participating on social media, you don't have to spend hours on it. You can still spend 15 minutes, but quality 15 minutes of conversation, right? 15 minutes of interaction, but make it quality, and then get off. Get off. You don't need to be on there for hours. Right. That tomato timer is a really classic thing that we should never forget. The tomato, turn it 15 minutes, you're done.
Yeah.
That's all.
The Pompadour effect or something like that. I forgot what it's called.
Right?
Yeah. No, that's what I do. I always have the way that I move my needle forward is time blocking. This hour, I'm trying to accomplish this. This hour is just what I'm trying to accomplish. Because then I really get to understand how long things take me when I do that. And then I have that, okay, I can only get this done within an hour. So I know to like where to hustle within that progress, right? And then I put my breaks in there too, like an hour break or, 2-hour break, whatever I need.
Especially when you have little people at your house who need you.
Oh yeah, you have to do that.
Right? Like you're in the thick of it too. You have to. They will resent you more than anything.
Yeah, yeah. So I always have my dedicated time with my littles. You know, like my boys, they want to do YouTube videos. So I'm they love it. I'm like, I'll try, but it'll be a fun project for us to like play together.
Oh, totally. No, you do it. And you're building confidence with your kids when they do that, right? Like
Yeah,
seriously. Yeah, it's fun. I'm glad that
it
they're
is.
asking you for that.
They
Yeah,
are. I was
because they've
surprised.
obviously learned from you something, right? And there's teaching some accountability, right? Social media is not a safe place for our kids to be. It's not safe for even us. And so when you can teach safe boundaries, right, and be educating and being there and using it as a tool for good, there's nothing better than that,
Oh,
right?
for sure. Yeah. So I want to
Yeah.
go deeper into your coaching process.
Mhm.
How you take a person from point A to point B. Because every single person has a different approach, as far as their coaching. So,
Yeah.
so where is your ideal client that gets the biggest results? Where are they before they're reaching
Uh,
out?
Before they're reaching out, well, they have a problem,
Hmm.
first of all, right? They have a problem and they're looking for a solution. And I am a solution provider. So the people that are looking for me are usually like they're super high feminine ambition, stuck in between the world of I love being a mother and I like motherhood, but man, I love to kill it in business. I love to earn money and I love the freedom that it brings me as a woman. That glass ceiling can just totally be shattered with entrepreneurship. But not everybody rolls out of bed knowing how to become an entrepreneur. And that's where I shine. I'm a ninja with that. And I really am that's my
I love
forte.
it. Yes. Well, my
And
boys want to be ninjas. So,
well, for me, it's like I'm a time ninja. I'm a strategy ninja. Those are my things. I'm an activator. I connect the dots really easy, which is why I can help someone build that bridge from point A to point B. And if they need point A to point B, but they actually want to be at D, then we need to build the bridge from A to B, B to C, C to D, right? Like, so you're building these little bridges, but so that they come with a problem, they're looking for a solution, and the energies align, right? They're looking for me, that feminine ambition is a driver, and yet they don't know how to manage their time and their day. How do I be a really good mother and a homemaker, right? Regardless of what homemaking looks like to you, it doesn't mean necessarily the same thing to everybody, but they don't know how to manage that. And what's interesting is you'll have people who say they want to do that, but then changing habits sucks for so many of us, right?
oh yeah.
Because we're so conditioned. And that's why I said the comment of not everybody knows how to be an entrepreneur because we're actually trained in society to become employees,
Oh yeah.
right?
With the school system, yes. Yeah.
Everything
Hmm.
teaches us how to be an employee. And I can't tell you how many times I hear, even people who have brick and mortar businesses and call me in for consultation. They're just like, I just literally want to go to work and go home and never think about my job. Right. And I'm like, well, there has to be some planning in your day somehow, even for your brick and mortar business, whether you're online or offline. How are you best approaching your clients? Like, are your clients having their needs met? And so many times they're not having their needs met. There's untended to information that there's half, like it's an 80% project and they're leaving 20% on the table. And I'm like, do you know what 20% could give you when you're at 100%? Like, and it's just super small tweaks. Like, how are you utilizing your email system? Do you have a texting system, right? Like, do you give your clients options? And it doesn't matter if it's a brick and mortar or if it's an online business at all. It doesn't matter. So my process is really, what do you want to accomplish? Right. After
Yeah.
they find me, and It's what do you want to accomplish? What's your vision? Listen, right? Lots of listening. And then I always ask this question. If you were to win the lottery today, the biggest lottery, and money was never going to be an issue again, what would you do with your time?
Ooh, that's a good one. I always ask myself that.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I always.
Because that is then your purpose. That's why you are doing the hustle or the grind or whatever you're going to label it, right? That's why you're getting up and doing what you're doing. That's why you're making the sacrifices you're making. And if you don't have that clarity, you are going to just sit and spin your wheels forever. And then you're going to stop doing it, right? Then you're going to go back to being an employee and having somebody else give you a check.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my goodness. We can go on and on with this. And I almost lost track of time because it's so good. You know, we went everywhere.
Okay. Oh, we are right on. Yeah.
I know. My last question was, after I asked them that question, what did they say to you? Because I'm sure they never even thought of asking themselves that question.
No. And that's where the work begins, right? That's where we start. That's the starting point. That's, your first brick on the yellow brick road. And you have to answer that question before you could ever move forward, because until that's answered, there's no purpose. And without purpose, there's no clarity. So you can't have clarity until you know the purpose. And for some people, it could be, I just want to be able to put braces on my kids' teeth. I just want to be able to get groceries on the table. I want to be able to have extra money for vacations, right? Okay, so now that money's not an issue, what are you going to do, right? Like, because all of that's going to go away. Yes. So what are you going to do with the time freedom that you have? And that's where a lot of people are like, oh, I never thought of it. And I think that's why most people actually don't really rise and make multiple 6-figure incomes and 7-figure incomes, right? Because they didn't know that it was possible. Like, they really are so conditioned to this is the life that was been dealt to me. And I just have to go from point, like, I just have to, if I can just overcome this problem, and then I can go to that problem, and they're problem solving all the time. And because that's the conditioning, opening up that broader picture really helps people. And some people are super resistant to it, right? Super resistant to it. But I'm like, you're wasting your money. You're wasting your money working with me if you can't get through this, right? So I always set that up right in the beginning too, is I never want to waste your money. And if you're not willing to do the work, you do not want to work with me, because you will be wasting your money. You'll be wasting your money and your time.
We're gonna end it here. Guys, what would you do if money wasn't an issue? If you had all the money in the world, if that wasn't an issue, all of your needs are met, what would you do for a living? Boom, mic drop. Oh my gosh, Sharon, where can people find you?
You can find me at www.sharonmcdonald.love. It really is .love, Love. There's no .com. It's literally .love. And then you can find me on Instagram at Sharon McDonald Love, all one word. And that's where I hang out the most.
Oh my gosh, it's been such an honor to talk to you. Thank you so much for being part of the show.
Thank you for having me. It's been an honor.
Thank you so much for tuning in. If you have a chance, stop by the website at lindamendable.com. Sign up for the Blog Cure, which is an awesome course that I created that will help you set up your blog or take your blog to the next level. And join us over at Monetizing Mompreneurs Facebook Group. I just want to say again, thank you for listening.
Thank you for listening. Thank you for listening.